Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was curious about the hybrid children and their emotional development.
What about it?
Do they go through stages of development similar to humans?
In some senses, although there are differences because they are not fully human, yes.
So do they process many of the same kinds of issues?
Some of them, not all of them. Some of them simply do not relate to them. But some of them, yes.
What would be some that are like human children that they go through?
The idea to some degree, and especially heightened in their case, the idea to some degree of going along with the group, or what you call peer pressure, and being an individual. This is extremely heightened for the hybrids, more so than for humans, because their whole idea and reason for being is the balancing of the individual and the group mind. So it is on a level that is much, 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 much more heightened than what most human children go through with regard to developing as an individual, while at the same time attempting to blend with the group.
Well, who would they, they cling to the group as opposed to differentiating?
It's both.
But I mean, in other words, they might cling longer?
No, that's not what I mean by heightened. I simply mean the experience itself is very much more heightened. They are very much more sensitized to all the issues therein. It's more something that you would call a crisis situation in a human emotional state.
Wow.
But for them, that's the natural state of how they can best integrate these ideas. It's on an energy level that would be a crisis situation for a human child.
And how old are they generally when they have to start processing this?
3.
Oh, and the support that they get, is that from other hybrids?
It is from all manner of sources.
Because they don't really have mothers that they can cling to.
Now and then they do.
Right.
And part of the idea is to teach them to learn how to make that connection, whether there is a physical presence of the mother or not. Because then they can make the connection to the mother within.
So when we feel love towards our children,
it helps with the process.
They feel it?
Yes, they can use it, they can integrate it, they can help use that energy to trigger their awareness of that energy of the mother love within.
So do they feel like lost children at all?
It does not translate that way.
But they feel something.
You have to have a point of reference to feel lost. They do not have a point of reference for that.
Okay, so
they are completely immersed in the absolute presence of their experience. So they do not feel lost in the sense that humans mean it. No.
And so do they feel the yearning or the longing like
in some senses, in some ways, yes, but it is not felt in the way humans feel yearning or longing. It feels more like an undeniable, inescapable pressure to be.
Do they experience boredom?
No. They haven't time.
Okay. Oh, it's really interesting.
The experience of boredom is something that they are offered just as a part of their curriculum, but they are not bored. No. They are not bored with boredom. Because to them, boredom is fascinating.
So it's just a state of being because there's so much in the present.
They do not have an emotional connection to it. It is simply one more part of their curriculum of learning all the different states that are germane to human experience. And so in that sense, on the larger picture, they're not bored even while they're experiencing the boredom.
And when they're in school, if you would
so
call
to
it
speak,
that,
yes.
And they're being taught, like I think in human schools, we don't really address a lot of the things that the children are actually experiencing.
Yes.
We just sort of sweep it under the rug and just ask them to conform.
Yes.
These children are, you said some of their books discuss these things?
There are books from time to time that are brought from the earth to show them certain things, but for the most part, books are not used in their learning since they are telepathic.
So, okay, so the learning about emotion, because they are studying that, right?
Well, in a sense, I suppose you could say they are studying it, but they are studying by experiencing.
Right, but I mean, there's a focused attention on dealing with whatever emotions occur for them.
That is one part of the curriculum, yes.
Okay, which is not something you really see here, although it's better here, I guess. In
certain places you see it, though it is not necessarily a major part of some of what you would call your technological civilization's curriculum. But in some of the other ones, it is. It does exist on your planet, and it is actually quite prevalent if you would look into the indigenous population.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does that help you?
Yeah, that helps a lot.